Thank you very much for joining me on this Sunday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to get to that strong wave coming off the coast of Africa. What islands need to be on alert for this as it progresses? And I do see this developing. So on track from what we've been talking about the last few days, some subtle changes, and I want to get into that, but you can see it's this tropical disturbance here that will trek across. Now, I want to caution right off the bat, this doesn't mean it's definitely coming into the Caribbean yet. It is way over here. There is the possibility this does give us some impacts in parts of the Caribbean, not for all of us. So I want to break it down very specifically. And as this tropical wave progresses, becomes a tropical depression and then tropical storm, and I know exactly where it's going, I'm going to go island by island. All islands matter. Doesn't matter if it's small or if you're on a big island. I'll zoom down and let you know where it's going, and also importantly, where it is not going. So again, you could kind of rest easy. I know it's a higher anxiety time of the year. This is common to be tracking stuff. There is what's left of Gert, still a tropical storm staying out there. There is Katia, and another little wave. I was talking about that second one back behind this big one. That will develop. That one will stay out to sea. But all eyes on this tropical disturbance that is getting a little bit better organized. So you see it here, and again, you see it for yourself flaring up. You see how there's brighter colors there? Even some of the darker ones mixed in. That means taller clouds, which means it's getting better organized. So, okay, what are the models saying? What am I seeing in the environment out of this? Now, the GFS, the American model, says this is still going to be a hurricane, but a change from overnight, a slower development out of it. That's what the American model is seeing. It's not seeing it becoming a hurricane over the next 5 days. It would be after that. That would mean a higher likelihood, though, that would impact as maybe a tropical storm the Caribbean. I'll dive into that. That may be a little confusing. I'm going to dive into that for you to be very clear. European model, Canadian, and the ICON, the German model, all have this strengthened into a hurricane near the Caribbean, at least as it approaches the Caribbean. Does it move in? Well, again, it's still far out there. So let me show you what I'm seeing now. So to break it down further, a weaker system would have a higher likelihood to travel west a little bit longer. So that's what I was just talking about there. And that's what the GFS is seeing. Again, slower development, potentially a tropical storm. And then the GFS, and I'll show it to you, has it moving into the Caribbean as potentially a tropical storm. The European model has this becoming a hurricane quicker, and that would allow it to make a little bit more of a curve. Things that are spinning more, like a hurricane, would have more of a likelihood to make a bit of a curve, but very close to the northeastern Caribbean. So that's why, again, we need to be on alert for this. So let me break it down very specifically. Know that I'm watching everyone, and I'm watching everyone even down the road. Eventually, Turks and Caicos, I'm keeping an eye on this for you. And the Bahamas, for example, watching Haiti. But these are the spots, at least of now, I really want you to be on alert for this system. Again, it doesn't mean it's moving into Antigua and Barbuda, but this is the spot, northeastern Caribbean, that if this does move into the Caribbean, it has a higher chance of some impacts. Now, anywhere from Martinique to the north. Now, I want to caution Barbados and St. Lucia. I'm watching you very carefully. Again, Barbados, St. Lucia, even south through St. Vincent of the Grenadines, in case there are any changes and weather changes. And I'll let you know, there's definitely going to be changes with this. So again, watching St. Lucia and Barbados, but just to the north, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Statia, Saba, St. Maarten, St. Barts, Anguilla, British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, the Spanish Virgin Islands as part of Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic, at least to start, need to monitor this system very carefully. If it comes our way, still an if, but if it moves in, that would be anywhere from later on Friday in through Saturday. So that's kind of the timing. Still several days away. So again, there's going to be some changes on this. Now, let's begin with the American model. Then I'll talk about the European model and the chance of this system becoming stronger. So again, here's St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat. We get back through Puerto Rico, my friends in Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas right here, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. So this is now the American model. Again, it's slowed up some of the development. So by Tuesday, still not a tropical storm at this point. Yesterday, the American model was already making a tropical storm Tuesday and Wednesday, but slower development. And as I mentioned, if it develops slower, if it's a little bit weaker to start, a higher likelihood it moves more due west and doesn't take that curve. And you can see it right here. This is by Thursday. Now, by Thursday into Friday, it would be developing into a tropical depression and tropical storm. And then because it starts out a little bit weaker and it continues to strengthen, though, down the road, that would make it move into the Caribbean, potentially as a tropical storm sometime late Friday into Saturday. And again, you see how close I mentioned St. Lucia and Barbados? Always watching us here again, see how close that could get. So whether or not it's a strong tropical storm to be seen, but the American model takes this in and then brings something, maybe a tropical depression, tropical storm near Puerto Rico. That would be as we work our way into the upcoming weekend. And then, of course, as I mentioned, watching down the road, Florida, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, it's just too far out to tell. I know I had some questions. Will this shoot into the Gulf? As of now, not seeing that scenario, but it's not out of the question. Again, this thing is way out there. So, okay, so that is one scenario. A little bit weaker to start, then develops it into a tropical storm, and then eventually into a hurricane very, very long term. Now, here's Cuba, for example, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Puerto Rico right here. It's this tropical disturbance that we're watching. This here is the European model. Now, the European model makes this stronger, which is a concern. That's why I showed you those alert zones, northeastern Caribbean. I try to spell it out island by island. We need to watch out because the European model has this as a much stronger system. Now, this is by the time we get into Tuesday. It has it developing into a tropical depression on Tuesday, and then just after that, a tropical storm. Well, what's going on in the environment? I don't just look at the models. I look at what's going on up here. High pressure, at least temporarily in control. This one's going to be a little bit of a trickier forecast. Sometimes, so first off, high pressure acts as a fence. It is there, so this just keeps moving to the west, and that's why we're on alert in the Caribbean. But sometimes high pressure is so dominant, it's easy to see where these things want to go. There's going to be kind of breaks in the area of high pressure. Let me show you that. Again, just think of it as a fence or as a barrier. Let me take you out in time. This is by the end of the week. So this is by the time we work our way into Friday. Friday, it already has it as a hurricane. So again, it has it strengthened very quickly. That's why we're on high alert across the northeastern Caribbean. I hope it misses. Doesn't mean it's coming in yet, but again, we need to be watching out for this. And you see this area of high pressure, this fence, it was over here. It kind of backs up a little bit more over here. So again, it's going to be fluctuating. It's going to be changing. That does give it a little opportunity to curve, but because it's starting out so far south, I'm not so sure it's going to really see that opportunity to curve quick enough. But either way, European model brings a pretty strong, again, all hurricanes are strong, obviously, but potentially Cat 2, Cat 3, very close to the northeastern Bahamas. Now, this would be the time we get into late Saturday, early Sunday, a very potentially major hurricane right here. That's what the European model has. It would be just, if this were to kind of come true, it would be just to the north of some of our islands. So again, way too close for comfort. And then after that, what happens long term, hard to tell, because again, watching this fence, which is an area of high pressure, and there's going to be a front near the United States. Fronts also help to kind of grab these up and allow them to kind of curve. But again, when does it make the curve for the Caribbean and when does it make the curve long term? It's too far out to tell at this point. Now, again, Trinidad and Tobago, you get toward the ABC Islands where we don't usually get a giant hurricane blowing through. This is all going to stay to the north. Again, as we go out in time, I also want to get into where it's not going because I know this time of year it gets frantic. I do not like hurricanes at all because I know I've been in them. I know the destruction. I know what happens. You do too. And again, I don't want you to have to deal with that. I also don't want you to have to prepare if you don't have to, because not all of us, I mean, it's not easy to do that. We don't all have the same means and it's very difficult. But either way, the European model at this point is showing a strong hurricane nearby the northeastern Caribbean by the end of the week and the weekend. I do not know if it moves in yet. So if anyone's like something's definitely coming at you, it's not the case. You just tell them, hey, nope, we just need to, I was watching this and you just need to be alert at this point, and I'll let you know what I'm seeing long term. Now, again, here's versions of the European model. And again, you can see how close some are to the northeastern Caribbean. If it shifts a little bit more to the south, potentially moving in. Again, we're just starting to get a handle on the system. The system is not defined. It's not even a tropical depression at this point. There's no real center to it. Until there's a center, we won't have a good feeling on where it's going to go. Good example of that was Idalia. Once it got kind of a center, that forecast was so locked in and it moved up to the Big Bend of Florida. That was very much locked in. So that's what I'm waiting for in this scenario. Once it gets better organized, we'll have a very good handle on the track of this together, and we'll be able to go back and forth. I'll let you know what islands need to maybe watch out for it, what islands don't, and we'll go from there. We'll take it step by step. Now, how strong could this be? This is one of my concerns. This is over time. This is 24 hours out, 48 hours out, 72 hours out, 96 hours out. These are some of the computer models, and you see them as they go up. You just see the trend going up, stronger and stronger. So it makes it stronger. This yellow shading here over time is a Category 1 hurricane, and at least all of the models bring it to at least a Category 1 hurricane, some stronger, Category 2, Category 3 down the road. This is the German model, the Icon. We've got a Hurricane Center model right in here. So some of these make it very strong to potentially Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. We'll cross that bridge as we get forward. Again, I'm just really fine-tuning this for you the next few days, but I showed you my alert zones. Again, St. Lucia, Barbados, north, keeping a very close eye on this. So spread the word. That's the best thing we could do. Not that something's definitely coming. I know I'm repeating myself. I'm going to do that a lot because, again, I'm not doing this for anything other than safety. Not always the prettiest. But with that said, again, I want you to spread the word that something may be coming because, again, a lot of stuff gets lost in the shuffle. And then you'll be able to update your friends and family. You could share this channel with them, and then you could just let them know if it will be coming, and I'll be able to fine-tune that the next few days. So again, we've got Katya and Gert out there. The next name on the list is Lee. So it looks like if this is the one that gets a name, unless we have any big changes, and sometimes that happens, Lee will be the name. Sometimes you see a system and it looks like it's going to develop and it doesn't, but this one still, all signs are pointing to development, and that's what we're watching. Again, these are the spots. High alert, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Go back, take a look at that map that I had, and I'll be able to zoom down further with specifics as we go out more in time. Had some showers in southern Belize, watching a few near Guatemala. We had a few overnight in the Cayman Islands, had a couple nearby Jamaica and my friends in Cuba. And then this area here, Eastern Pacific, will develop, but it's going to move away. So again, we haven't had much activity on the Eastern Pacific side. Now closer to the Bahamas today, spotty showers, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago. We may get a few, little bit more over toward Panama today. And again, Cayman Islands and Jamaica, there's still some of that energy that's been filtering through the Bahamas, Cuba, Cayman Islands. We'll see scattered showers that'll even pull back toward Honduras and Belize. Now going from today into tomorrow to give you that forecast, a little bit of a flare-up. Haiti and the Dominican Republic tomorrow, a better chance of some afternoon showers and storms, and if you stay dry, it is going to be very hot. Scattered to widespread showers and storms over toward Costa Rica, Panama, hit or miss Eastern Caribbean, Dominica, Grenada, may see one or two, and again, all eyes will be watching what's developing off to the east and kind of marching its way into our general direction. So this is Monday, and now I want to take forward into Tuesday. As we work our way into Tuesday, a little flare-up of rain here. Jamaica, we have a slightly better chance of getting some scattered showers in Jamaica as we work our way into our Tuesday forecast. And by Tuesday, I'll be able to really fine-tune island by island for you if this thing is coming, and if it is, the specific impacts for you. Exactly what you can expect. I will do that. I'll work around the clock, whatever it takes for you to give you that information that is correct and that you need to keep you safe and your family safe and help protect property to the best of your degree. Hopefully this is one of those occasions we kind of maybe take some preps and it's one of those misses, but we'll wait and see on that. So for today, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, 50% chance of showers and storms. Same thing in Cuba. Scattered about, as I mentioned, a little bit higher chance. Costa Rica as we work our way into Panama. As we get over toward the Bahamas today, scattered showers, about a 40% chance. Turks and Caicos could get one or two. And again, some areas of dust are around. We've seen a little more dust working into the Eastern Caribbean, so slightly lower air quality. Keep me posted on that in the comments if you have some of that dust around. I always like your ground reports. You really help me out with this channel. This is a weather community. Again, it's for you, so we could just go back and forth with the weather. Leave your location, what's going on as far as the weather is concerned, so other people can see. But I'm curious about the dust. If you have any, let me know. So again, we are watching this closely in the Caribbean. The strong wave will at least develop some. And again, I showed you some of the models. A lot of them are trying to make this a hurricane. American models backed off just a little bit. Hope that trend continues. And now the key will be, when does it start to kind of make that curve? That'll be the key to fine-tuning this forecast. And again, it will be close either way. Something will be close late week, Friday into the weekend. We're going to have potentially a hurricane nearby, tropical storm nearby. Doesn't mean it's definitely coming at us yet. But again, I'm going to be able to zoom down into those locations if it does come in. Long way to go in the hurricane season. Again, we take it step by step together. It is a busy time. It's supposed to be busy. It is September. And again, I will be watching this around the clock. Any significant changes, I'm going to let you know right away. I'll be watching this. I'll be watching the trends in the environment as we go through through the day, and I'll be getting to all your comments. Thank you. Awareness is key. So thank you for sharing this channel. You don't even need to subscribe. Just share the channel. That's my main thing, is getting the word out in the Caribbean that something may be headed our way, and I'll go from there with you. So thank you for your trust. Have a good rest of your day.